Yeah, yeah. You see it. You see both lines. Well, after 2 years of dodging the lurgy, it finally caught up with me. So, yeah. So that's me quarantined for the last week. And, yeah, well, I didn't get such a bad dose of it, I'm glad to say. But it meant that I couldn't really concentrate on any camera show preparation because what with being out with the down with the virus, I also had to reschedule a couple of Super 8 workshops, and that was a full on administrative job, which I had to do on top of not feeling 100% because of the what have you. And the reason I'm wearing the mask here is because I'm only allowed in the room where I do this show for 1 hour while I do the show. Then I've got to wear the mask at all times, and I don't want to get any onto my microphone because I might recover from this. Well, I will recover. I'm feeling fine now, really, but I'm still testing positive. And I don't want to reinfect myself with a microphone sponge. So hence the masked show tonight. Anyway, hey people in the chat here. Barry Steinlager's here. Ian, Lyndon. Hey. Anyway, so what we got? You see, what I did is I finally started feeling really much better yesterday. And I was scrabbling around thinking, well, I made a promise to the people. I made a promise to do a show this week. And either I let down my viewers or I endanger my family by leaving the isolation room. So I thought, let down viewers on one hand, endanger family on the other hand. And you'll be pleased to hear that I've gone the endangering my family route. So I've brought you a show this week. But it's what it was. You see, I was trying to get stuff together. There's been some very interesting stuff in the news about Kodak, and there's all this stuff. And I was trying to get it all together today, and I thought, well, instead of doing a half-assed show, I'll do a full-assed half show, if you see what I mean. Okay, so it's going to be a quick one this week, but it's going to be top quality all the time. And I know it's going to be top quality because I pre-recorded a bit specially for such an occasion. Yes, this is what being COVID prepared is all about. I banked up a really nice piece all about a camera. So we're going to watch that tonight. I'm going to take a back seat. In fact, I'm going to be sitting in the middle here, live, and I'll be on the chat as well. So I can chat with you like we're the kids at the back of the classroom, while teacher's going on about something. And the teacher is me as well. So what do you want? This is 2022, biatch. This is how we're doing it with a mask on. All right. So anyway, should we do this? All right. Now listen. The piece I recorded was about a camera called the Sankyo CM300. So let's get back to the roots of the show, and let's sit back and actually watch me talk about an actual camera. This is the get back sessions of Ben's camera show. Except, yeah, I don't have any cups of tea. I've just got this bloody water bottle, and I've got to go back to my bedroom for another 48 hours and test myself again. Anyway, enough about my Zurus. Let's go and see what's going on at the in the past when I didn't have COVID. So I'll see you on the other side, and I'll be over here and enjoy the show.
Hello. Now, a lot of people ask me, Ben, I want to get into Super 8. I would like to buy a camera. What is a good starter camera for me if you're just starting out shooting Super 8? Now, a lot of people say, whoa, I've heard this Canon 814 XLS is good. I'm going to get that. Or they say, oh, I've heard the Bollier 4008 ZM2 is good. I'm going to start shooting Super 8 using one of those. No, you're not. Well, you can, but I would not advise it. In fact, this goes for any kind of hobby or discipline or anything that takes a long time to learn. Don't go out and buy the absolute top quality tools for the job if you're just starting out, because there's a high likelihood that you're going to break it. And the best thing to do is to get something that's cheap, reliable, quality, has some features, and you can get into it, see if it's for you. If you're really good at it, if you really enjoy it, then you can move on and get yourself a really quality camera. So a good starter camera, what are you looking for in a good starter camera? You need something that's tough. You need something that's got a decent number of features, but not too many features. And you need something that will give you a decent quality picture. And there's one camera, well, there's a few cameras. There's a few cameras that satisfy all three of these criterias. And the one I'm going to show you today is a definite contender for best starter camera. So let me just go into my little box over there.
Oh,
and
I'm going to have a downstairs neighbor.
The camera I am going to show you is this, the Sankyo Super CM300, made in 1970. It is still got the kind of the metallic parts and the metallic heaviness and solidity of the late 60s, early 70s Super 8 cameras before they all went to plastic in the mid 70s. In fact, I've got a camera just to show you what Sankyo did after this camera. They came up with this camera in 1974, the LXL 225. Look at them side by side here. Yeah, they have a very similar design, except the LXL here is almost completely made of plastic. And surprisingly enough, not surprisingly at all, this one doesn't work anymore. Something plastic inside it has gone, some plastic gears probably. But the Super CM300, 4 years older, metallic, still works. There's a lesson there to be learned. Your first camera should be one from, I would say, from the late 60s, early 70s. Get a good, decent, heavy one. And it's more likely to give you years or maybe minutes of use. Anyway, let's have a look at the Super CM300. See what it's got for us. It's got this rather strange kind of bottom-heavy design here, which is a feature of these Sankyos, which I'll get into a little bit later. But firstly, let's get some power into it. Now, where's the power? Of course, it's in the handle. Here's the handle here. You press this big button in, and there we go. It folds out and creates a handle to shoot with. And of course, the batteries are inside the handle. Not all Super 8 cameras have got batteries in the handle, but a lot of them do. Now that's empty. How do we stick batteries into there? How many does it take? Let's see. It takes 4 AA batteries in one of these battery holders. And again, this is a bit of a favorite with Sankyo. They like to put the batteries in battery holders. Other camera brands did it as well. Chinon did it. Umig did it with a few of their sound cameras. There's a lot to be said for putting batteries in one of these holders before you stick it in. If the batteries leak, they're only going to destroy the holder unless they leak really badly. And these battery holders, believe it or not, you can still get them, and they cost almost nothing on eBay. I got this one for 99p. That's right. So if you ever buy one of these and the batteries in the holder have leaked and the whole thing's got gunk all over it, just chuck the whole thing away, get another one for 99p, and stick it straight back into the camera. So once the batteries are loaded into the holder, you simply put it in here like this, push it in like that, and shut there. It doesn't even need a coin or a screwdriver to get the handle up. It's all clicks open and clicks shut. Very, very simple there. Now, I'm going to fold the handle back in for the rest of this demo because it's easier to get the whole thing on the screen at the same time. Now, what can I show you about the Super CM? Well, over here is the trigger button. There's to start shooting. In fact, let's get an extra microphone on here. Let's hear the motor. Very nice. It's also got this run lock button here, a little switch here that if you want to have continuous shooting, you just start shooting and push that up and then up, and there we go. It's running all the time. Now, let's get the door open here.
I missed the bit where I said I missed it, so I've paused it now. By the way, me with a mask on up here is the live one. Oh, if I make myself laugh, I start coughing. Anyway, So I forgot to say that if you push that thing up when you're not shooting, it works as a trigger guard as well. So that's very nice. All right, I'll carry on.
Push this and slide, and open up the compartment here. Goes round. Very, very visible and accessible gate here. It's good for cleaning it. You put your film in. You put your film in like this. Push that bit down. Shut it. And you're ready to shoot. But are you? Let's look at some features on this thing. Let's start on the other side. Over here is your footage counter. There we go. Easy peasy. Goes from 0 to 50 feet. I think when you put the cartridge in, it goes to 50 and then it counts down. Or else it might start from 0 and go to 50. I don't know. But if it starts at 0 and you see that needle going along at 50, your film is finished. Here, of course, we have our zoom. It goes from 9 to 30. Not the biggest zoom in the world, but not too bad. And here is your focus. So you can quickly and easily focus and zoom using one hand over here. And what's this behind the handle?
There's still here.
Features here. What have we got here? We've got a battery test button. Push that button in. There we go. Batteries are good. And here is a remote control start and stop. I'll try that in a minute. And here is, this thing just turns around and around. This is actually just a little fixing point for a hand strap. Now, of course, there's your eyepiece. You look in through there when you're going to shoot. And the eyepiece has an eyesight adjuster ring here. So you just turn that, and that loosens it. And then you can adjust this to whatever your eyes require. And then you turn this and it tightens it up and locks it in place. Very good. It's a pretty simple point and shoot when it's all working properly. You just hold this and hit the trigger. Like that. Take the lens cap off. And you just point and shoot. But it has a couple of hidden features. Well, they're not hidden. They're just a little bit complex. Firstly, let's go with this. What's this little socket for? Well, it's for a remote shutter cable, like something like this. That comes out the end. And if I screw that into here, I've got the cable release plugged into the other side. And what happens when I hit the plunger? Single frames. See? Takes one frame at a time, so this thing does single frame as long as you've got one of these cable release
shot with the reflection
cables.
Pushing the thing.
In fact, we can see this even better if I shine a light through the lens. You can see it a bit easier if I put some paper down here. There. Whoa, there's a single frames coming through there. Now, as you can see, it looks a bit orange, that light. And that is because this camera has the daylight filter in place. And there's only one way to cancel that daylight filter, and it's very annoying, and I'm going to show you. Right, let's talk about exposure. The Sankyo CM300 has automatic and manual exposure, which is great. It is selected through this little wheel here. It will expose from f1.8 all the way up to f16, and you can select whether you want to go auto or manual with this knob here. If it's all the way up, I'm going to put my hand over the lens, in front of the lens, and away. You can see that needle is adjusting, which is good. It means it's working. But if you turn this knob to manual, you can then select whichever f-stop you want. Very, very good, very important. And I'm glad that Sankyo seemed to put this on all of their cameras, almost all of their cameras, which is very good if you're going to shoot expired film. When the auto tells you need to be, say, at f8, but you know this is expired film. So yeah, let's open it up a couple of stops to f4, whatever. You can choose whatever you want. And here's something I just discovered. Okay, the light meter on this thing does not have its own battery. It runs off the AA batteries, which is great. None of that messing around with trying to find little coin wine cell batteries, all of that nonsense. Nope, it just runs off the AA's, which is fantastic. However, at all times when this light meter is active, the power is slowly draining out of your AA batteries. Well, how do you switch the light meter off? What if we want to put the camera away? Well, guess what? The auto run lock lever here, let me put it up, down, up, down. This is what I showed you earlier when you want to run and leave it running.
Oh, so I did get to that.
If you lock it, if you push this thing up, not only does it stop the trigger from going down, it also turns off the light meter, which is brilliant. I'll show you. If I lock the trigger, watch the needle up here. Boom. It goes all the way down, which means it's dead. It's shut off. See? The light meter's not working while the trigger lock is up. So the trigger lock is basically the on-off button for the camera, which is amazing because if you push that up and your trigger is locked, it means the power is also cut off, which is great. Now, there's something else very important I need to show you about this camera, and that is the daylight filter. Now, I've talked about this on a lot of other films. Daylight filter is basically an orange kind of colored filter, which you need to put on if you're using tungsten film. That's 200T or 500T. The T is for tungsten. It means tungsten light. It means that those films they work better under artificial lighting, which is warmer and kind of orangey, a bit like what you're seeing here. But if you go outside, that tungsten film is going to have a very blue cast to it. So you've got to put the orange daylight filter on. Where's the daylight filter on this camera? Well, it's inside here, but a better question would be, how do you switch the daylight filter on off? Now, on a lot of cameras, they have a very simple switch, the sun and a bulb on it. And the sun means the orange filter is in, and the bulb means it's taken away. But there's no such button on here. Unfortunately, the only way to take the orange filter on and off is to screw something into this top thing here. This was originally for a movie light. Okay, so you see that screw, and there's a little sort of knob in the middle and the bottom there. That's actually a push down button, and that gets rid of the sun filter. Because that orange filter is always in unless you screw something into the top here. Now, with these cameras, quite often they came with a little screw to put into there. A lot of the times the screw that you put in here, it comes off, so the previous owner probably put it in his pocket or something, or her pocket, and it's now gone. So you need to find something to go into there. Luckily, I have one from another camera. This is a little screw here, which can go on top of the camera. So what I do if I don't want my filter, my orange filter in, is I have to screw this thing into the top here. When that's screwed in, the daylight filter is disengaged, and you can shoot with most normal film, including black and white film. But if you're shooting with tungsten film and you want that orange filter in, then you take this thing out, and the orange filter is in. If I screw in the thing on top, look what happens. There we go. See, it goes away. Now I want to show you something else, which is pretty cool, which is the remote operation. And that's actually an electronic switch. And I'm going to switch it by using one of these. This is a little doohickey which came with a UMIG sound camera. And it's basically just a button that connects to a wire. And at the end of that wire is this. It's a micro jack, not a mini jack, just a micro jack. And that plugs nicely into there, like so. It won't start and stop just pressing the button like this. You have to put it on run lock, like that. And now, with that on run lock, it's still not coming on because that thing's plugged in there. But if I press the button here, so with one of these switches, you can have the camera on a tripod, and you can start and stop running just with the push of the button there. It's very nice. So as soon as I unplug this, look what happens. See, it's on all the time. So let's just, there we go. All right. What else is there to show you? Well, there's something I want to show you with this camera because it's a very, very well set up camera to show you. And that is how the automatic metering can tell what kind of film you've put into the camera. So here's the film compartment. Here's a cartridge. And as I showed you before, the way the cartridge goes in is like this. Right. Now, check what's going on right about here. Now, the thing to look at is this. Looks like a little staircase here. See? Stairs, there's that. Now, this is actually one whole button which can just go in and out. Just pushes in like that and out like that. The reason it's in this kind of staircase pattern here is because that's how the camera can tell what ASA or what ISO film you've put into it. Here, for instance, is a cartridge of 200T film. Now, you see this notch here in the cartridge. Notice that the 200T cartridge does not push in that button because of the notch. Now, compare that with this roll of old Kodachrome, which was 40 ASA. And it has a very narrower notch. And as you can see, look, when I put it in, it pushes that thing all the way in. See? Now, if this notch was a little bit wider, just a little bit wider, it would hit the second step here, and it would push it in just a little bit, less than it is now. See, right now it's pushing all those steps in. And if it was a little bit wider still, this notch would only push in this tiny bottom step like this. I don't have any old cartridges which are the right size, but you'll have to take my word for it. And the amount that that cartridge pushes that little step thing in tells the camera what ISO the film is. Very clever system, especially because some cameras have got a whole row of buttons here. This one just has this one button with this staircase thing. I can show you it in action. Check the aperture here. It's between 8 and 11. Well, at this angle, it's 8 and 11. It's probably on about 8 right now. And when I push that thing in, look what happens. See? It goes down. See? It changes the needle there. And what that's doing, it's opening the aperture. It's opening up the iris inside the camera. Because the more that thing gets pushed in, the more light the film is going to need. That's why if you put in Vision 350D or so, it would push it all the way in and open up the aperture all the way. A very simple, very elegant system. It can meter 40 ASA film, 64 ASA film, 100 ASA, and 160 ASA film. So those are all a bit old, those ISO ratings, but in terms of modern day film stocks, this thing can automatically meter 50D 100, which is the Ektachrome. It can do 64, which is the old Ektachrome, and 200T as well. The only problem it might have is it might overexpose 500T slightly. I don't think you have a problem. The reason you want to use 500T really is for shooting in dark places and with little light and indoors. And probably you'll find that in dark situations, the camera will open its iris all the way anyway. So the worst that's going to happen if you put 500T is if you shoot it in daylight and it might come out slightly overexposed. But remember, 500T and Vision negative stocks, they're very, very tolerant of getting your exposure wrong. You can fix a lot in post. And that is about all I can think of to say about this thing. It's a very nice starter camera. They are cheap, maybe not film tested, but if the motor runs, you've got a very good chance of the thing actually working. Let's see what some footage looks like that was shot on this. And there we go. It looks perfectly good, to be honest. This was shot on 500T. Not just my kitchen and my garden as usual. Nice clear lens. Nice exposure. Nice and crisp. No blurriness around the edges. A very, very decent picture. So there we have it. The Sankyo Super CM300. Thank you, Sankyo. Thank you.
He's gone into the ether, leaving just me. Right. That's... oh, dear. No. Yeah, so there we go. The Sankyo CM300. Barry asked a pertinent question during that, which is he said, does that stepper thing identify daylight and tungsten? And I said the answer is no, but I didn't mention in the film that so this is there's there we go. So there's that notch I was talking about. It's down this end. Down this corner, this one doesn't have it because this is a reloadable. I just grabbed it. But sometimes there's a notch there and sometimes there isn't a notch. And then some cameras will read that and automatically adjust to daylight or tungsten. Anyway, that's yes. Tio Manny says, tough cameras. Yes, very nice. Very solidly built and a good camera. So listen, what we're going to do is call an end to the half episode today with a little treat in the screening room. And this time, here we are. Where am I? Here I am. Yes, what we've got this time, this is some interesting footage. It's from film, but it's not being shown on film right now after last week's debacle with the 16mm projector. I need to do a bit more work on that, and maybe it was just a duff film, I don't know, but we're going to show a film from digital, and this is something that Americans might know of, but personally, this is all quite new stuff on me, and that is these are intermission films. Which were shown at drive-in movies in America, like in the 60s, and some of them look like they're in the 50s. And this one's quite classy. You know, classical music. But later on you see the burgers, they start trotting out the food, and yeah, haha. Yeah, I don't think it would look. Oh, yummy! Now with no garnish. Popcorn in a tiny little cup that modern Americans would send back and get someone fired over. A hot dog, now with no relish or mustard or ketchup. Just the hot dog on a bun. Get the hell out of my concession stand. The food of your choice, but that's it. The food, nothing else. So yeah, in a way, this kind of sums up what this episode has been about, which is basically it's a way to get me past the COVID and back into normal life, and I've got some great content. I almost put it all out tonight, but not in a very half-assed manner. So I thought, no, I'm going to save it for when I'm feeling 100% better, and then I'll save it for then. But let's see. Thanks for everyone who tuned in live. It's I promised you a show, and I did deliver, I think. Oh, I feel like a hot dog now. I didn't eat very much during the COVID. Luckily, my mother made me some chicken soup. Thanks, Mom. It was delicious. It fed me for about 3 days. Ah, nice. Okay, what else we got? T.O. Manny says, this is great.
Rise and stretch time. Time to refresh yourself and visit our snack bar.
Regal Cinemas still showing. That
Your
says
favorite
Barry.
soft drinks are sparkling cold. The Juicy Frank sizzling hot. There's delicious coffee, freshly brewed, and all kinds of ice cream and candy to tempt you. Showtime will be announced loud and clear to get you back to your car in time. So stretch your legs. Come to the snack bar now.
Intermission time.
Oh, it's a really old
Time
one. This one's in
for
black and white.
stretch you've been wanting. And best of all, time to take your pick from that scrumptious array of tasty treats waiting for you at the snack bar, where the popcorn's poppin',
He's almost laughing. Popcorn's
the
popping.
cold drinks are sparkling,
Nice.
the hot dogs are sling,
they're slanging. The hot dogs are slanging. Hang on, I got to
The
rewind that
coffee
bit.
is steaming.
I mean, obviously there's a bit
Where the
missing from the
popcorn's
thing.
popping.
He said the poppin'. And then,
The cold drinks are sparkling.
what are the hot dogs doing? Let me hear that again.
The hot dogs are slang.
They're slanging. They're sizzling, obviously. But
The coffee is
obviously,
steaming.
the word sizzling was seen to be so offensive that
And a luscious treasure of confectionery
It's a
delights, with
censor
ice
it.
cream and candy, and so much more to tempt any
Oh, Barry
taste
says, let's all go
is
to the
waiting
lobby. We're
for
going to
you
play that
now
last, Barry.
at the snack bar.
Stay tuned. We're going
You'll
to.
be
I know the one you're
notified
talking
in
about.
plenty
As
of
an
time
English
when the
person,
next show is about to begin.
that's the only one which I'm aware of. The let's all go to the lobby. All this other stuff is. Look, it's the
Oh,
60s.
the time is now, the time is here. Now's the time for a bite of cheer. A tasty light where the price is right. Well, look at here, you'll dig this sight.
Yeah, giving that some of that pre-COVID
Piece of
vibes.
candy, just name your brand, they're all so grand. Hey, what do you think of a nice cool drink? Or a big box filled with a popcorn
Isn't
drink?
this that Fallout game? It's full of this kind of stuff, isn't it?
Refresh yourselves, it's time to eat. So come on, folks, let's join the band as we all head for the refreshment stand.
That's a nice one. I like that one.
I'm sorry, sir.
Oh,
This is a private.
that's some nonsense, that one. Okay, I've seen these things. All right, let's finish with the classic, the one that everyone seems to know. I'm going to get a copyright strike, I hope you realise. Oh well. YouTube.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Oh, that's so great. Well, we're turning into that film Delicatessen, aren't we? Right. That is the film, the Ben's camera show for tonight. And you can't see, I didn't put a camera in. You can't see the credits, for goodness sake. All right, I'm going to have to just cut those now. Right. I'll put some other music here. Thank you all. Thank you all for turning up. It's it's been one of those shows, a little out in the ordinary tonight, a little bit shorter than usual, but I playing the freaking COVID card. All right, I joined the club. I joined the stupid club, and I got COVID like the rest of you, and I had a clean sheet before this, so obviously there's some variant out there with your name on it, however protected you think you are. So anyway, look, we saw a camera, we had a few laughs, and let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a drink. And don't just bring. If you go in a time machine, this is what we learned tonight. If you go in a time machine, bring your own damn condiments, because the burgers, hot dogs, they had nothing on them. All right, that's it. Barry says, "Great show, Ben. Feel better." TMS says, "Feel better, Ben. Great show. You're a champ." Hey guys, thanks, mates. If it wasn't for you two, or whoever else is watching live, why the hell would I drag myself out of bed to do this? Gives me something to do. Keeps me busy. Lyndon says, "Get better soon. See you next show." Thanks, Lyndon. Yes, this time next week I will be getting ready to do my rescheduled workshop in London, and then I will be doing another workshop on May the 7th in London. So go to zerobudgetfilmschool.com. If you want to go to April, there's still some places left. Sunday, the 10th of April, and Saturday, the 7th of March. Oh no, so 7th of May. Saturday, 7th of May, and Sunday, Sunday, the 10th of April. The only music I brought today is West African music. Why the hell not? Okay, right. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. Thanks everyone for joining. And hope you learned something about the Sankyo. I'm very glad I pre-recorded that. I would not have been able to do it justice on my own. So yes, Ian says get well soon. Thank you, Ian. Thanks, everyone. I'm well on the way to recovery. I'm in a few days I'll be 100%, and by this time next week, on the 7th of April, I'll be 110%. So yeah, tune in then to the show. Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.